Good day, beautiful loved ones. Today is a video vlog on what in this current space-time continuum is most inspiring, most thrilling, most exciting to me as we all collectively embark on what is a super intense emotional roller coaster that feels as if it's going a million different directions at the same time. And in my experience, what I've been noticing is that no matter where one is in life, regardless of their belief systems or their experience or how they're interpreting their own journey, we are all at a precipice, a critical maxima of sorts, where we're deciding the trajectory of our passion and the trajectory of our life here forth. It's a blessed place to be because so many people don't know what they're doing and don't know why they are where they are, but it seems like when you look at your past, you've always been in the right place at the right time. That is a perfect representation of what you need to go through and grow through in order to find that place of bliss and love within yourself. What's interesting is there are so many different belief systems and so many different ways of interpreting our experience as a collective individually, yet we are all striving and working towards the same goal, which in short, or I guess a dumbed down version, simple version, would be to feel fulfilled, loved, happy, and abundant. I think the feeling of abundance is what gives rise to that joy and that happiness, that self-love that it takes to live a passionate life. For we're realizing that we've been for so long as a collective doing things we do not want to. What seems to be the hardest lesson of childhood is learning to do the things you don't want to, yet at a certain point you also awaken out of that and start living your life from your highest excitement rather than your lowest expectation. And I think we're in a brilliant place, a brilliant opportunity where we can, as a collective, journey forth on the path of our highest evolution with passion and with care for others. It seems serving others is the easiest way to that joy which we feel so deeply at times, yet so distant from at others. We're being tugged and pulled by emotional polarity as never before in so many ways. And I think the next step is to realize the unity and the unifying field of this experience, this polarized experience, is love. And love is the most efficient and only way to find that place within yourself where you truly feel one and connected to everything that is, so that we bridge the chasm of separation that we have created from ourselves to the world without us. We are inextricably connected to nature. Nature feeds us, nature clothes us. Just about everything that we function with and off of is the source and product of nature. And when we start to live in harmony with nature rather than polluting it, when we make conscious decisions about what we are eating, conscious decisions about the products we're consuming, we will find that joy and that foundation, that framework from which we can grow into this alighted life of our highest passion. And for those who don't understand this language or don't understand the premise of living a fulfilled and happy life because they don't experience that on a daily basis, the deepest lesson that I have learned in my own depression and my own anxiety, my fear, is that loving the one who experiences those things will bridge that gap in between needing circumstance in life to greet you where you are and meet you where you are, and you can start coming to life as you are, so that you don't have to change in order to feel changed within. The change happens when you make the choice and the decision to love yourself more, not less. At every moment, at every stage, whether you are depressed, whether you are jubilant, whether you're self-hateful, or whether you are totally kind and compassionately radiant towards all those you experience, that love within will radiate out and start to completely transfigure your life as you find the courage to grow and say the things, do the things, be the things that you've always wanted to, but been conditioned and told that you are not allowed to. In kindergarten, in the youngest school experience that we have, for those who have been fortunate enough to be educated, and to all those who have not, may you be blessed with finding this education in any capacity that it comes. We're told that we are allowed to do certain things, and that when we do not do those things, or when we do something that's wrong, which is kind of a conundrum because Because how can you do something aligned with divine perfection, aligned with your highest growth, but be doing it wrong? We're told that we're going to be punished, or the consequences from our parents, from our teachers, from those that judge us will come forth, and it will put almost a prison of fear around us so that we don't do those things again. And that's a fear-based teaching, because that assumes that what we are doing in every moment is not of our highest benefit. And if we are to fall into and just break our heart open into the trust of, I love myself, whatever I am doing is perfect and needs to be in order for me to be my highest self, the timeouts, the punishment, and the consequences that result in behaviors that are not of our highest benefit, when we have the fear internally and subconsciously that we are not worthy enough, that we are not deserving of our own love, that is what creates crime and punishment and assault and the deeply traumatizing and painful aspects of this polarized experience that not pull us down, but keep us in a certain state of vibration where we are afraid of going above that. Because in order to move out of the pain and to move out of the trauma, we must relive it in some aspect, because reliving it is what gives us the opportunity to finally do it right. And being right about transmuting and honoring these things is not so much about doing one thing in particular, but breathing through them, because all stagnant energy, all trauma, all pain comes from a breathless state where something in life has taken our breath away. So to breathe, to be easy, to be loving, is the highest and easiest way out of the things that we think are unavoidable. I have so much hope and so much faith and such a deep degree of appreciation for everyone's journey, because no matter how they've acted out towards me, or how I felt rejected or pushed away by others, everyone is going through exactly that which they need to grow. And without that experience, there wouldn't be the growth and the quantum leaps in consciousness that we're seeing for so many beings around the world, where you could live for 30, 40 years in a state of depression and suppression of your deepest emotion, all to have it culminate in one big life-changing event that causes you to open that heart, to open that experience of what you are, what you've been repressing, relive it in some capacity, and move forth into the brilliance of your divinity, which ultimately is just the acceptance of whatever you've experienced to be perfect and true, rather than something that you are a victim of, moving out of the victim consciousness into the victor consciousness, where you are the champion and conqueror of your deepest fear. The pathway to your deepest enlightenment is through your deepest fear. And when we awaken to that realization that the things that horrify us, the things that scare us the most, are the things that are poking and prodding us to wake up into our brilliant love, so that those things, when we encounter them in the future, are actually those things that we love the most and can transmute like true energetic alchemists, that's when life really begins. And all over the world, we're seeing this with people having completely traumatic events versus right next to them completely eye-opening and awakening events, within and without. And we're all finding that passion, that creative endeavor, that idea that we've always had, that person we've always wanted to meet, the person we've always wanted to be, has been given the space by life to experience the first steps, the first toe in the pool of that swim, that journey, that voyage. And I'm so grateful and so excited to be participating in this with so many different beings, whether they are aware of it or not. And I think all throughout creation we're seeing this unifying of a cosmic field that in so many ways we've been unaware of. But when we awaken into it, nothing apart from that understanding that all is unified and all is one could deter us from our path or really be true. Because the deep feeling of your own truth is more powerful than anything you've ever been taught, more powerful than anything that you have thought. Feeling is more powerful than thought. Energy and motions are emotion, and that emotion connects you to the energy of creation. In this holographic reality, composed purely of energy, we only interact by our experience of circumstance, or objects, or our experience of experience. So one could hate cilantro, one could love cilantro, but ultimately cilantro itself is the same, and our experience of it is what's changing. And so for each individual in our unique insanity and creative brilliance, it is the time to embrace that rather than run from that and fill your life with things that distract you from that very brilliance of divinity that you have been brought here to anchor for the benefit and well-being of all. And so with that, may all of us be blessed with finding within ourselves the deep peace and the deep compassion it takes to recognize our deepest fear, to bring it up for healing, to be confronted by that in reality if we choose to repress it. If something life-altering, or let's say a loved one passes away, and that's what it takes from life in order to wake us up into that love that we have always wanted to express, then so be it, yet may all be healed and may all be loved and nurtured through this experience, because it's easy to talk about the personal journey. It is even more difficult to live it and to work through it in the light that we are talking about here, which is the light of self-love. And to do that consciously and awarely is such a quantum leap from where we are in our own ignorance and repression, that it is life-altering for a reason. It does change your perspective on everything for a reason. And it really does transfigure your reality for the better, for the benefit and well-being of all, because it is meant to be that way. For every human life has been a journey in the past that reflects those themes and lessons. And so your survival of that experience is what denotes whether or not you've really made it. You may be a completely different person. You may be trying to find the part of yourself that has survived that, but you yourself are that which survives your trauma and pain. And the light of that refined personality and being is your brilliant divinity. And so for that, I love you all. Thank you for listening today. Check out more of 5D Media. May you be blessed. I love you.